Hi, we have got Tammy Safi.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for coming in. Now, you are a naturopath,
Yes.
an iridologist, and a herbalist.
And a nutritionist and a massage therapist.
Wow, you do a lot. Now, we haven't had someone like you on the show before, and it was really weird because, I've had a few health issues and like I've been exhausted and my adrenal glands and not sleeping well and blah, blah, blah. And it's people like you that can help people with these problems where they go to the doctor and they just get a blind answer, don't they? Or
Absolutely.
they try and...
That's the type of cases we get. We get people who've been chronically ill for a long time. They've tried doctors, they've tried specialists, and they got no solution from there, so they come to us after many years of going elsewhere.
And the great thing about natural medicine is that it's safe, isn't it? Like, you don't hear about all the side effects.
Side effects are minimal. They're usually dose related because people have taken too much or too little. And if they stay in touch with their herbalist, that's easily adjusted.
Let's have a look at what you've got here. This is a master chart. So I find this fascinating because this is for iridology, and obviously iridology is all about being able to look into people's eyes and seeing what's happening.
The iris, is a map of our body. Iridology was discovered a little over 100 years ago.
Oh, was it an Asian thing or something?
No, actually an American by, maybe perhaps before the American discovered it, by the name of Bernard Jensen came up with this. But there's a tale that when he was a young boy, he had a pet owl that fell out of a tree and broke his leg. And he noticed in his iris there was this line.
Wow.
Which ran exactly horizontal down to the bottom of the iris, and he noticed as the owl healed and got better, the line went away. Nearly 20 years ago, my daughter developed asthma, and took her to a doctor. That was before I knew about naturopathy, and she said to me, here's a puffer, give it to her, and she'll be fine. And I said, for how long? And she said, I'll just give her whenever. And I said, you mean forever? She said, yeah. I said, no, I'm not putting medications into a little 3-year-old.
Well, there's all these other kind of like issues with all of this, globalized kind of like corporate medicine as well, and it's like these pharmaceutical companies have got everyone hawked, aren't they? That's what it's about, isn't it?
Well, I went searching for an alternative treatment for her, found it through natural medicine. Then I thought, wow, you can treat people with food and herbs.
Yes.
I want to know more, and then I started studying.
So how long have you been doing this for?
For over 17 years now.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you seeing health going? Like, what are the common problems out there that people see you for?
Unfortunately, common problem is stress and depression, chronic fatigue, and a lot of anxiety because people are doing way too much.
And they're stressed. There's so much expectation on our lives, isn't there?
We're trying to do a million things in one day, and we're not eating well at the same time.
Yes, our food chain has gone downhill, hasn't it?
When you come see a herbalist, we usually spend an hour with each patient of ours. A lot of time we get to go through the case history to find out where the cause is coming from, because your anxiety compared to somebody else's anxiety could be coming from a different origin. It could be because of stress, but somebody else could be because they've been sick chronically too long.
Now, what happens if people don't treat these issues? I mean, eventually they end up very sick, don't they?
You get burnout. You wake up one day and you just can't get out of bed.
Yeah. There's different ways of being treated. There's obviously advice.
A lot of advice is given. I go through their diet. I look at their irises to see where the underlying problems could be originating from, and I write everything down for them. They're given sheets, or I write it down, and then as I'm talking to them, I'll in my head be compiling the herbs I want to put for them.
How many different herbs would a naturopath have? Because
in my dispensary,
you go to them and you see all of these bottles and bottles. How many?
I have at least 200 different herbs in my dispensary, and some of them I make up myself.
Wow! And you actually even grow some yourself?
Yes, I do in my backyard.
That's amazing.
So it's organic. And
what like one of the most difficult things for someone like you to treat, for example? What are the hard cases?
Well, what I've been actually seeing a lot of these days and finding really, really tricky to treat is psoriasis. It's actually a skin disease. It develops in little patches, and in that area it develops into a little silver layer. And the skin is actually multiplying at 1,000 times the rate than the rest of the skin.
Wow. That's interesting.
It's triggered by stress. 5 years ago, I used to see 1 in 100 patients with psoriasis. Now 1 in 3 have psoriasis.
That's incredible. You know, there are objections from the mainstream industry about all this, but it's growing,
I think
isn't it?
it's not objections, is ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what they don't know,
Yeah.
they don't want to know.
Now, this is your special tool, isn't it?
It is. This is my iris torch.
Okay.
And I use that to look at an iris.
Okay. Do you want to?
And I just focus on there. The light helps me see every little dent and every little squiggle in your brown iris. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you see anything?
Do you want me to tell you what I see?
Sure.
I see that you may have a tendency towards high blood pressure if you don't have it already.
Okay.
But actually, you've got some really nice healing signs there too.
Oh, you're
on the
so
outside.
sweet. You've also written a book, so because teas are really interesting, healthy teas. When did you write this?
I wrote that in 2001.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, teas. Now, what can you tell us about teas?
Well, herbs, liquid extracts are made from
It's interesting. Yeah, medicine,
plant material.
And
And the same stuff that goes into this bottle, we can actually infuse it and make a cup of tea out of it. So I've actually put all the different herbs that are available in Australia and in the US, and I've put the ailments at the back of the book. So if you've got headache, which herbal tea you need to actually look up to put together to cure the headache.
So people can help themselves through the teas.
It's a self-help book, yes.
That's fantastic. What are these little bottles here? These tiny little bottles.
I use bark flowers. These are called bark flowers. There's 38 different bark flowers. They work on an emotional level. For if someone's set in their mind, say they're over cleaning in the house, or if they're constantly worrying before they go to sleep and they can't fall asleep.
Or if they're constantly trying to produce low-budget national television.
Well, I'll just use that flower. For example, white chestnut is good for the person that thinks too much and worries.
Okay, but what's actually in these, for example?
The extract of the flower.
Oh, isn't that interesting? I've read about bark. He was the person that devised this, what, a couple
He's
of hundred
English.
years ago?
Yeah, maybe 150 years ago.
Wow. So this is rock water. What's rock water?
Rock water is good for fear. It's one of the fear remedies, because a lot of people can't advance in their life because they have some sort of fear.
That's interesting. So what happens is that do they take this as a drop in their mouth, or do they put it in water? Oh, under their gland?
I actually will take 5 different bark flowers if they need it, put it in another different bottle that has a carrier of a mixture, and they will take it drop dose under the tongue. 4 drops 4 times a day, usually.
Wow. And so what's the success rate with bark flower remedies?
It's always successful. It always works.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
I have fellas who keep it in their back pocket, and I've got women who'll put it in their handbag and take it with them everywhere.
That is really,
It's very reliable.
Tammy Safi.
Safi, yes.
Safi, S-A-F-I. If people want to Google you, they can Google you, because I know that, you know, when people watch an interesting segment, they follow up with a Google. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Arnie.
Pleasure. And you're our first naturopath that we've had on the show in the last 4 years. So
Excellent.
it's the first. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.